Did the Florida Panthers and Panthers Nation just witness Aaron Ekblad's last game in a Panthers sweater in Game 6 of this year's Stanley Cup Finals? Rumors have been flying already about will he stay, will he go, how much should he get paid, should the Panthers keep him here for the rest of his career? Well, we're going to talk about all of that right now on this episode of Panthers Digest. Guys, thank you for joining me. As always, I'm your host, Greg Andrews. Hit that subscribe button down below. You need to stay up to date with anything and everything that has to do with your back-to-back Stanley Cup champion, Florida Panthers. Guys, for the next few episodes, I'm just going to be really spotlighting one of the big free agents on this team. I'm going to be talking about their contract that they have that has just expired, I'm going to be talking about contract that they should be getting, where could they go, why should they stay, all of that. And who do they compare to on this current roster, as well as who are the other free agents that the Panthers could potentially bring in to replace one of these guys if they decide to sign somewhere else. The good news is this. There is some brightness on the horizon about Bennett, which we'll get into tomorrow, as well as Brad Marchand. Again, Florida is a very attractive spot for unrestricted free agents for any player in the NHL right now. In my last episode, I talked about GM Bill Zito, how he's changed the culture down here for Florida Panthers hockey, how he has made the Florida Panthers a very attractive team to any person in the league. And there have been players that have come out and said, even players that have been retired for years that have said, listen, if I was playing in the league right now, yeah, absolutely. Florida is a tremendously attractive place for anybody to go to because their organization is top notch. They are the model franchise right now that every other franchise wants to be like. They're winning championships. They're getting into the Stanley Cup Finals every year right now, and it looks like it might still stay that way for the foreseeable future. And tax-free state. I know people are like, oh, we know the tax-free state, it's a big thing. Again, nobody was complaining when they weren't winning. Nobody was complaining when the Lightning were winning. So stop, guys. Just stop, okay? But it's an attractive place to be. It's because of GM Bill Zito. It's because of Paul Maurice. This organization has gotten it right. They have the chemistry. They have the blueprint. And that's a very attractive thing for all of the players in the NHL right now. So we're going to start off right off the bat, Aaron Ekblad. That's our spotlight for today, guys. And here's the man. He was drafted by the Florida Panthers 11 years ago. He has never been on another team. He doesn't know another team. He's been through the ups. He's been through the downs. He's been through everything. In my humble opinion, do I think he's worth $7.5 million like he's been getting paid over the last 8 years? I don't think so. And I will tell you why in just a moment. I think he's worth less. And I'm going to give you a very good comparison of one of his line mates, one of the other defensemen on the Florida Panthers I'm going to compare him to. And you tell me, should he get more money? Should he take the same? Or should he take less when we compare the two defensemen? So, as we're looking at this right now, David Pagnotta, Aaron Ekblad will likely head to free agency. He's probably going to test the market and see what he could get. I'm pretty sure he's going to be looking in the states where there is no state tax. He's also going to be looking at teams that are still going to be championship contenders. He does want to stay here. I showed you guys a quote from him that stated he loves this organization. He's bled for this team. He loves the players in it. He doesn't want to go anywhere else. I know David Pagnotta is saying, oh, his AAV is $7.5 million, and the contract talks between the Panthers and Aaron Ekblad have kind of stalled right now, and that's why he's saying he does believe he will test free agency because the Panthers don't want to offer him $7.5 million right now. He already went through that. The best years, everybody believes, are behind him. So let's keep moving forward and let's look at all of these years. So the circles that are on here are part of the comparison that I'm doing between another one of his teammates. The circles mean he has the advantage there. The numbers were better for him in those years, in those columns for goals, assists, games played. And that is the biggest thing I want everyone to realize about Aaron Ekblad. And I think other teams will realize too, especially when it comes to the AAV, that I think More analysts need to be discussing this about Aaron Ekblad. I still think Florida has the upper hand on re-signing him, and why not? There are some decent free agents out there that are defensemen, and we'll go over that in a little bit. But Aaron Ekblad, in the last several years, has been injured a lot. He has missed considerable time. I mean, look there. You could see his last full season it was back in 2018, 2019. After that, he has never had a full season. Yes, this past year, he probably could have finished out the season playing somewhere between about 77 to the full 82 games, but the 20-game PED suspension kept him from that. It seems like every year there just seems to be something that sidelines him and doesn't allow him to finish the season. So in his total career, he's played 736 out of 902 games. You could see in that 2017, 2018, 2019 season, and then after that, it's been very sporadic in terms of how many games he's played every year. He was close in 2022, 2023, playing 71 games. But listen to these injuries. He's been placed on long-term injury reserve 4 times in his career. In 2021, he broke his leg and he had to have surgery. That's an obvious he's got to be placed on long-term injury reserve. He returned. Then in March of 2022, so that was March 2021. A year later, March 2022, a lower body injury, long-term injury reserve again. He was reactivated in May. Then October of 2022, long-term injury reserve again, lower body injury, reactivated in November. Then October 2023, long-term injury reserve. He had to have shoulder surgery, reactivated in November. And then March of 2025, the PED suspension. And there it is. 20 games. 20 games, guys. He is a very effective defenseman. When he's on the ice and he is healthy, he is very effective. He's incredibly aggressive, yes. And that's why his penalty minutes are pretty high. And he has cost the Panthers in some games some pretty big moments where the other team has scored or they literally have won the game because he has cost it. He's had some turnovers in some costly situations. He is also, to me, again, I don't know what happened in this playoffs, but to me it seemed like he was playing injured. I already talked about this in one of the last episodes. He went into the corner and it looked like he had free range on that puck and could have gotten to it before one of the Oiler forwards or centermen. I can't remember who it was, but it looks like Aaron Ekblad just kind of put on the brakes and stalled and just said, all right, you just go ahead and take it. And I'm like, why is he not being aggressive? To me, that just says that there was something going on with Aaron Ekblad this year. But let's keep moving on, guys. This is the guy I want to compare him to is Gustav Forsling. Gustav Forsling, everything that I have circled here, all those big boxes and stuff means he has better numbers than Aaron Ekblad does. Do you know how much he makes? He signed an 8-year deal, and he's getting $5,750,000 per year. That's all he's getting. Doesn't sound like, I mean, look, he cannot get paid more than Gustav Forsling, who right now I could say is probably one of our best defensemen. I mean, he stopped Connor McDavid in the Stanley Cup Finals several times. He also did it to Leon Draisaitl. He went up against some of the best this year. Matthews, Tavares, Kucherov, Gustav Forsling, and Seth Jones. I'm not going to leave out Seth Jones. I think he ultimately is going to be our best defender, hands down. I mean, he, again, was that silent in the shadows player that just made these huge plays on defense, every single game. I mean, he was up and down all over the place, and he has the most time on ice. But Gustav Forsling, they are very similar in the style that they play, but Gustav has better numbers. Forsling has better numbers in the last few years than Aaron Ekblad has had. And I'm going to show you. Those are the regular season comparisons. We're now going to get into, this is Aaron Ekblad. That's why I put the E there. Penalty minutes, 87 penalty minutes in total. And that's literally from the 2015, 2016 all the way through the season this year in those 6 different postseasons that they've had that he's been able to play in. So you could see in the last 3 years, obviously, his numbers were okay. This year he was very good in the playoffs, a quiet 13 points, but he really helped his team win. 24 minutes on ice average. That's a lot. I'm not saying he's not a good player. I just don't think that he's worth $7.5 million, like his AAV states. I disagree. Because here's Gustav Forsling. The numbers are almost identical for the postseason. Almost identical. I'm going to go back. Look at the career numbers right now. Look at the career numbers. They are so similar. Time on ice is exactly the same for the average. Games played, 83 to 84. Goals, 8 and 8. Assists, 25, 23. Okay, you get the point. I'm not going to keep going back and forth between these two, but you get the point. Very similar in the playoffs. But this is the big thing I want you guys to see. Sorry, right here. Look at the games played from 2021, 2022 season all the way to this year. He has played almost a full season or very close to it. I would say 90% of the season or more Gustav has played ever since he came, well, the year after he came here, in 2020, 2021. He's played almost every game. Aaron Ekblad has not. Obviously, injuries, suspensions, all of these things have popped up in his career, and that's been an issue. That's why, again, I don't believe that he is worth $7.5 million. Especially when Gustav Forsling signed an extension, he's only getting $5.75 million per year. But to give the benefit of the doubt to Aaron Ekblad, I don't really see him leaving. I think he will test the market. I see other teams throwing some pretty big numbers at him. I'm hearing rumors that Toronto obviously is going to try to go after Bennett, Ekblad, and Marchand. They're going to try to go after all three, hoping to maybe steal one away from us, maybe two. But it's the culture down here. It's this organization. It's this team is the definition of what a team is. These guys did everything together throughout the whole season, especially in the playoffs. And that's something GM Bill Zito really stressed about what he wanted when he came in here was, let's make this about team culture. Let's make this about getting these guys to be happy, playing with one another, that camaraderie that you need, the team chemistry, because if it's not there, we're not going to win games. And they proved it with back-to-back Stanley Cup titles, 3 trips to the Stanley Cup in the last 3 years, and the President's Trophy 4 years ago. So this is Jameson Olive quoting Aaron Ekblad on his pending unrestricted free agency. I live and breathe for the Florida Panthers. I bled for the Panthers. I've given my body and everything to this team. I want to keep doing it forever, for as long as they'll let me keep doing it and coming to the rink. Need you say any more about a guy who's committed to his team, to this culture, to what Paul Maurice is putting out there? I mean, there's the reason why he was on that top line for defensemen. He's still a great player. But will the injuries start to catch up to him? Will his physical style of play, just like Sam Bennett, will that come back and start to bite him in the butt a little bit, and his body's going to start to break down? And I see that's what the Panthers and GM Bill Zito are going to say. I don't know if we could pay you that kind of money just because we don't know if your body can take it. He's 29 years old right now, guys. He turns 30 in February. So we'll see what happens. I think GM Bill Zito will try to throw something at him, try to push the culture, try to push that he's been here for his whole career. Why not, start a Panther, end as a Panther. Let's keep it this way. And I think that's going to be the best way to sell him on it and say, let's just keep this dynasty rolling. And that's a talk for another day, is talking about this team. Are they a dynasty or are they not? A team that has been dominating their sport for year after year after year. The Panthers have. And we'll talk about that another day. This is about Aaron Ekblad. So right now, one of the things that I didn't like from Matthew Tkachuk that he has said, because he's a player, we all know that, Matthew Tkachuk, who doesn't know who he is, this is what he has said. He's like, I'm the player's player. And here's what he had to say about his teammates on their free agency. Billy, that's GM Bill Zito, probably can't stand me because I'm the guy telling those guys, like, you better make as much as you possibly can, whether that's here, somewhere else. I'm a big believer, like, I'm an all-player guy. You better go out there and get that Brinks truck backed right up in front of your front yard. I understand why he's saying it, and I agree too. These players should get paid. I don't think some of these players get paid enough, period, in the game of hockey, because it is so physical, it's so demanding. It lasts forever. The season is so long. I think these guys need to get paid more. But unfortunately, the sport of hockey isn't as popular as the NHL or even the in Major League Baseball, right? The NFL and Major League Baseball right now, and that's the problem. These guys need to be getting paid more. So I understand what Tkachuk is saying, but here's Gustav Forsling on his line mate. No, he's going to be a Panther for life. I really hope so, and I believe so. I love playing with him. That's the strong words coming from your line mate who has full confidence in you, who's played the last 5 years side by side with you pretty much. That says a lot. I don't think he's going to leave. I really don't. Again, I think he will test the market unless Bill Zito can somehow pull a rabbit out of his hat right away and convince him to sign for less. I would say a more fair deal, so that way Bill Zito and company can have a chance to re-sign Marchand and re-sign Bennett, is if he can take somewhere between 5 and 6 million per year. But again, it's going to come down to, I think, guaranteed money. What is going to hit the cap and what is not. And here's Aaron Ekblad on the Panthers organization. It's a tight-knit group. This organization does everything for the players, and it's a special place to be, a special franchise, and I don't think there's a better one in the league. You can't say more. Again, this guy loves it here. This has been his home for the last 11 seasons. Why would you want to leave? I think it was Steven Stamkos was asked that very question when he was on the Lightning, and they had won their first championship. I believe a reporter asked him, are you going to test free agency? What are you thinking of doing? And he says, why would I leave? I think that's what Bill Zito needs to say to each of these guys, Marchand, Bennett, and Ekblad. Why would you want to leave after everything that this organization and you have accomplished as being a part of it? Why would you want to leave? So anyways, Ekblad has had a very good career, though. 118 goals, 262 assists, 380 points in an 11-year career as a Panther. I don't see him leaving. I think he will stay unless, again, he gets an offer he just simply cannot refuse. If somebody surpasses the $7.5 million per year mark and they say, we'll give you $8.5, $9 million to come here for the next 8 years of your career, I'm going to say, why would you say no? Especially if it's in Texas, if it's in one of these states where there is no state tax. I mean, Dallas has a pretty solid team that could be enticing. Do I see him going to Toronto? Maybe. They have a really solid team too. Could he possibly go to the Oilers? Maybe. Montreal has been whispered out there as well. But I don't want to speculate too much while there's not a whole lot that's circulating definitively about, hey, these teams are going to come hard after him. Or he likes this team, he prefers this one. I mean, the talk from him is he loves the Panthers organization. He wants to stay here. As for the free agents that are out there this year, I have a list right here in front of me about who is available, who can the Panthers afford. We're obviously not going to go after Brent Burns. He's 40 years old. Provorov, Ekblad, who's out there, who's our guy, Dmitry Orlov, and Burns are getting too much money right now. The Panthers will not be able to afford any one of those guys. So below that, Jeff Petry, Vladislav Gavrikov, Ryan Lindgren, Alec Martinez, Noah Dobson. Sorry, Martinez no, because he's going to be 38 next year. Evan Bouchard is out there, but I'm pretty sure he's going to sign with the Oilers. Unless they swap. Unless, hey, we give him Ekblad, Bouchard comes here. But I think Bouchard is going to get a lot of money. He's going to get a lot of money. He's a really good player. He's going to get a lot of money. Then there's Keandre Miller, Bowen Byram, and David Savard. I mean, there's some other guys that are out there, but I think there's a few guys. Like David Savard might not be bad because even though he is going to be 35 years old, you might be able to get him on a little bit of a cheaper note just because of the fact that he's older. He wants to be on a winning team, even though Montreal had a pretty good season this year. And if you lose Ekblad, he might not be a bad guy to replace him with, even though he is going to be 35 in several months. But again, Keandre Miller might not be a bad guy. I mean, there's some good players out there that I think the Panthers could take a look at and say, hey, here's our backup plan just in case. But again, Seth Jones was brought in for a reason. He was brought in just in case Aaron Ekblad did walk. And then we could take someone from that free agency market, pop him in to that into that defensive room and see how he fits. I mean, Bill Zito knows what he's doing. He knows how to take a player that's got, like I said, it's got a chip on his shoulder, something to prove, needs a little bit of work. This organization knows how to get these guys to come here and be the best version of themselves that they've ever been in their entire career in the NHL. I have faith in Zito. I have faith in Ekblad. I do believe he will re-sign here. I think he will say, yeah, let's not break up the band. Let's keep everybody here. Let's keep winning. Let's make this a real dynasty. So guys, again, tomorrow, we're going to be talking about Bennett or Marchand. I'm not sure yet which one I'm going to talk about, but there's going to be spotlighting those players as we move forward to kind of give a little more insight into what are they going to be expecting? What are their camps talking about? Who could replace them? Who could we compare them to on the current roster here in Florida? What will happen if they do walk? You know, I mean, all these questions are going to be answered. We're going to be talking about all these different things. And please, guys, I would love your comments down below on who you think could replace Ekblad if he walks. How much do you think the Panthers should pay him? Do you think he still has enough in the tank to keep playing at a high level? Or should we let him walk and try just to replace him because he is not in his prime anymore? Anyways, guys, that's it for this episode today. Thank you all for joining me on this episode of Panthers Digest. I'm your host, Greg Andrews. Again, hit that subscribe button down below. All of you guys who keep coming back, watching these videos. There are thousands of you guys. I have a goal. I want to get to 2,000 subscribers. I want all of you to help me get there, and thank you all for your support. The ones who did subscribe, those who keep coming back and watching, those who are commenting and being respectful and giving insight and all that. You are tremendous. Thank you guys so much for your support. Signing off for now. Until next year, guys, I'm not going to keep bringing up the same things, but I'm just going to say not until next year, but until the next episode, until the next big Panthers season when we really start diving into the games and everything, which I cannot wait for. It's so far, but yet so close because there's not a big off season for the NHL. But guys, stay tuned. Tomorrow we'll have another episode. Maybe we'll have some big breaking news and maybe we signed all three of these guys. We'll see. But as soon as it breaks, I will get the news to you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and go Cats.